Hello and welcome back to the second stage of doing my bathroom and kitchen. It's nice of you to join me again. In the last episode we managed to get all our plastering done in our bathroom and our kitchen, so we're ready to fit all the furniture, start our tiling, get painting, etc, etc. So with that said, we'll catch up to where we got up to and we'll go from there. So after the last video I got a little bit busy and I started to unpack the kitchen. It was all flat pack stuff. I didn't really want to record it because it's boring and I think to put flat pack furniture together. So I put all my units together, put a level line across the wall, fitted all my units to where they're going. So this is obviously going to be the sink. There's going to be a space for the washing machine here. And of course we've got a set of drawers which are a pain in the neck to build, so I've given up on that. And we've got our oven and two cupboards either side of it. I'm yet to put all the wall units up though. I'm going to have to move our extractor fan over slightly because it's in the way now. But we're going to press pause on our kitchen for now and we're going to move into our bathroom. We're going to start putting some of the tiles on the floor because we want to get all of this painted, and the plaster's still a little bit wet in here, so it's going to give me a bit of time for it to dry out before I paint the room. I'll be painting this before I put all the wall cabinets up because I don't really want to be trying to cut painting down the side of the cabinets once they're already up. So we're going to put the floor tiles down in the bathroom. Once that's done, we're going to paint our bathroom walls where it needs to be painted, and we're going to paint in here too. So as you can see, I've laid some tiles out roughly where I wanted them. I was slightly torn between whether I wanted them horizontal or vertical from the door. I've decided I'm going to have them running long ways up to the shower. So my first thing to do is going to be to PVA this floor to stop the suction from drying the tile adhesive too quick. And then I'm going to start on my first row, probably coming from this door. I'm going to set my row out along the bath, tile all that side, and then I can bring it back here. And the reason for that is because I've got a nice straight line next to my bath, so I can keep the tiles going in a nice line and I don't have to make any awkward cuts. Before I go ahead and PVA this floor, I've pre-cut all these tiles, so I know they're going to go ahead and fit where I need them to. And it's really important we do that because I don't want to lay as I go and find stuff doesn't fit or quite match. So always pre-cut your floor first, and then I'm going to pull them all back up, PVA the floor, then we can start laying the adhesive. While I was waiting for the tiles to dry, I decided to go back into the kitchen to start painting and making my worktops. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how to make these worktops. There's hundreds of tutorials on YouTube if you're interested, but basically it consisted of cutting some melamine panels to where I wanted the worktops, screwing some timber to the side to make the forms, giving it a quick clean out, and then mixing up the concrete. Now my mouldings are set. Give these a good week to dry, so I'm hoping that they're going to come out okay. Now before I go ahead and put our worktop on, I've fixed some timbers to the wall here. That's just going to help support that side of the worktop. So what I'm going to do next is just get some silicone, and I'm going to put it all around the edges, in all the places basically where our worktop's going to come into contact with the unit, and that's just going to help it stick down, not to move, and kind of just seal it in place. Now that's all finished, I can take off the back side of the moulding, which is going to be against the wall, and then I'm going to lift it in place and take off all the sides. Hopefully it's going to stay in one piece. This whole process of making these worktops was probably a little bit more rushed than it should have been. So the final product did need a bit of touching up and needs a bit of polishing, but other than that it turned out okay. With that being said, let's get back to tiling. Now that the floor's all tiled, I've carried on with the wall tiles. There's still a little bit left to do where the toilet's going, but I've done most of the walls around the bath and where that radiator's going up the wall there now. So that leaves the last area to tile, which is our shower area here. Now I'm not just going to tile straight onto the wall. I can't tell you how many times I go into properties, take tiles off the wall when doing strip out, and the wall is soaking wet behind. And this is because a lot of people don't actually tank behind their showers. So when they use their showers, the water comes through over time, either seeping through the tiles or the grout. That's not something I want, so I'm going to do a process known as tanking. It's basically a process you use in wet rooms to waterproof the walls behind the tiles. So if water does make it through your tiles, it doesn't end up soaking your wall and compromising the wall behind it. So I'm going to be using the Map-I waterproofing kit. Basically comes with a roll of scrim tape for all the corners. It's got some SBR primer, which is basically like a stronger PVA. And it also comes with, it's essentially the same stuff we used in our kitchen to waterproof the floor. It's basically a flexible rubber sealant that's going to go over our tape and keep all the water from getting through. To start with, I'm going to use the SBR, put it in a bucket, and I'm basically going to be painting it all around the places that I want to prime, ready for tiling. After that's dry, I'm going to put the scrim tape in the corners, which I'm going to want to waterproof, and then we're going to put this on top of the tape to seal it all off. So while I've got the tile adhesive out and I'm sticking tiles to walls, I thought I might as well do the ones in here for the kitchen splashback. So I've been out to have a look for some tiles and this one caught my eye. I'm not quite 100% sold on it yet. Because it's quite an old house, it's a 1900s house, so it's like an old Victorian style. Although I'm making it all ultra modern, I didn't want to completely take away from its character. So I thought this would be a good little homage, if you like, to its history. So I plan on only doing one row around the kitchen. I would do two, but this style of tile makes it look really busy and it's a bit in your face. So I think I'm just going to go for the one row for now. But I'm going to be matching it with this chrome trim, so I'm actually hoping they'll look quite nice when they're on the wall, and they'll go quite well with the brushed steel splashback there. So I'm going to fix all these tiles to the wall, finish off the bathroom, and then we'll move on to grouting all our tiles. Now the tiles have had a chance to dry, I can start taking the spacers out. If you've not seen these spacers before, they're pretty handy for getting rid of any lips on tiles. All they are these. So you get this little white bit which you put behind the tile. So it'll go either side of that, but obviously behind the tile. And then you have this little orange wedge with notches on. So when the spacer's in, all you have to do is, if I can just get it in, all you have to do is put the wedge in, push it forward through the notches, and it'll actually level your tile up to get rid of any edges. Then all you need to do when they're dry is simply hit them with a hammer. The back of them snap off and stay behind the tiles, and you're left with a wedge which you can reuse and some waste plastic. They're pretty handy for someone like me who doesn't do a lot of tiling, and it's a quick way to get good results. Now the tiles are done in the kitchen, we're moving back into the bathroom, and I'm going to grout all the tiles. I'm going to be using the Maypie Ultra Colour Plus in grey. It's got some good qualities, so it's flexible, mold resistant and water repellent grout. That's going to come in handy for the shower areas because obviously it's subject to a lot of water and I don't want it creeping through the tiles, so water repellent is a must. So to grout the tiles we're going to need a couple of things. Obviously we're going to need grout. We're going to need a grout float, which you can pick up pretty much anywhere. It's just kind of like a soft foamy base to it. And we're going to need a bucket with some water, and we're going to need a sponge. So the process for grouting is quite simple. We just use the grouting float. We're going to mix up a little bit of grout. We're going to use this float to push it into the joints as deep as we can. We're going to rule it off to get rid of most of the excess stuff. We're going to leave it about 20 minutes or so, get a bucket of water with a sponge, and then we're going to wipe the excess away. So there's quite a bit of grouting to do, so let's get to it. So that's the walls pretty much grouted now, other than a few little bits. So the only bit left to do now is obviously the floor, but I'm going to have to tidy that up a little bit because it's got a little bit wet and covered in grout. Oops. And the great thing about the grout that I've used is it's a colour match grout, which means they sell a colour match silicone to go along with it. So when it comes to sealing up all the shower area and around all the ceiling lines, we're going to have a silicone that matches the grout colour, which is really important for the final look. I've also put on the windowsill tiles, which I'd forgotten before. And another little use for these orange wedges when you're done with them, for example, when I use them in the kitchen and you're left over with these little orange wedges, they're really good for setting tiles out if you have to hold them in a certain position, because as you can see, you can just wedge them in and it keeps everything where you want it. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this bathroom out and get started on grouting the floor. Nearly there. And on that note, I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to give this grout a good chance to dry out. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of stuff. There's still plenty of stuff left to do in this house, so I'm going to keep the videos rolling out. Hopefully it won't be too long before the next one comes out. And in the next video, we'll get all the furniture in the bathroom, our toilet, our shower, get everything painted, architraves on. We'll get this bathroom finished and ready to go. And then this will be out the way and we can move into finishing the kitchen and the dining room. Slowly but surely this project is getting done. So thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.